Welcome back to our channel US Coin 69, the place where we uncover hidden treasures in your coin collection. Have you ever wondered if that old coins could be worth thousands or even millions? Well, today's your lucky day. We're diving into some of the rarest and most valuable US coins that might be sitting right under your nose. Let's jump in and see if you've got a fortune waiting to be discovered. Top 1. The United States of America has a rich history of coins, and among the most iconic and well-known is the Lincoln 1-cent penny. While pennies may seem like a dime a dozen, there are rare and valuable specimens that have captured the interest of collectors for decades. Today, we're going to dive into one of those unique and valuable coins, the 1966 Lincoln 1-cent penny, and explore its history, rarity, and extraordinary worth in today's market. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Since then, it has undergone various changes, with the most significant being the transition from the original wheat reverse design to the modern shield reverse we see today. However, the 1966 Lincoln penny stands out among its peers, as it holds a fascinating story that could potentially put a lot of money in your hands if you happen to find one in your pocket change.so. What makes the 1966 Lincoln penny so special? Well, in the year 1966, the U.S. Mint produced a variety of pennies that were primarily composed of copper, just like most pennies from that era. However, what sets this particular year apart is the presence of some very rare and unusual coins. To understand why this specific coin can be worth so much, we need to talk about a little thing called error coins. An error coin occurs when something goes wrong during the minting process. It could be anything from a misprint to an off-center strike. In the case of the 1966 Lincoln penny, there is one particular error that has caused quite a stir among collectors, the 1966 double-die penny. This rare coin features a slight but noticeable doubling of the image of Abraham Lincoln, creating a unique and highly desirable version of this classic penny. These double-die pennies are often referred to as minting mistakes, but in the world of coin collecting, these mistakes can sometimes lead to extraordinary value. The 1966 Lincoln penny with the double-die error is one of those rare finds that can attract the attention of serious collectors willing to pay a premium for such a unique piece of history. When it comes to determining the value of a coin, collectors look for several factors: rarity, condition, and demand. The 1966 Lincoln penny with the double-die error is extremely rare, and because so few of them were produced, finding one in good condition is a rare treat. Moreover, collectors highly value the historical significance of such error coins, making them even more sought after in the market. If you're lucky enough to have one of these error coins, the value can be astonishing. As with any collectible, condition is everything. A well-preserved 1966 double-die penny could easily fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. In fact, some have sold for as much as $125,000, turning an everyday coin into a major windfall for the fortunate seller. But how can you identify a 1966 Lincoln penny with a double-die error? The key is to look closely at the details on the obverse side of the coin, particularly around Lincoln's features. If you notice any signs of doubling, such as a second, faint image of Lincoln's face or the date, then you may have a rare gem in your hands. It's important to get your coin authenticated by a professional if you believe you have one of these rare double-die pennies, as the value can vary significantly based on its authenticity and condition. While most 1966 pennies are worth only their face value, if you come across one with a double-die error, you might just hold a small fortune in your hands. The world of coin collecting is full of fascinating treasures, and the 1966 Lincoln 1-cent penny is certainly one of the most sought-after examples of these hidden gems. So, if you're going through your pocket change, don't overlook those pennies. Who knows, you might just find a 1966 Lincoln penny that could make you a small fortune. The next time you're sorting through your loose change, remember, the coin you think is just a regular penny might be worth more than you ever imagined. That 1966 Lincoln penny could be worth up to $125,000. Top 2. When it comes to American coins, few have as much history and intrigue as the Lincoln 1-cent penny. Introduced in 1909, the Lincoln penny has undergone several changes over the years, but some years stand out more than others for their rarity and value. One of the most fascinating years in the history of this beloved coin is 1974. While most 1974 pennies are worth just 1 cent, there is a special version of the coin that has captivated collectors and enthusiasts for years. Today, we're going to explore the significance of the 1974 Lincoln 1-cent penny and why it can be worth a staggering amount of money. The standard 1974 Lincoln penny might seem like just another coin to most people. After all, it's a copper-plated penny featuring the familiar image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. However, some versions of this coin contain rare errors that have caused them to become extremely valuable. These error coins are the ones that have drawn attention from collectors, coin dealers, and investors alike. The main error associated with the 1974 Lincoln penny is known as the double die variety. This type of error occurs when the design is struck into the coin more than once, creating a doubled image of the features on the coin. In the case of the 1974 Lincoln penny, this doubling can often be seen in the lettering of Liberty and the date 1974. The result is a penny that is much more than just a simple copper coin. It's a highly sought-after collectible that has the potential to be worth a lot of money. What makes the 1974 double-die Lincoln penny so special? The first thing to understand is that error coins are extremely rare. The minting process is highly precise, and for a coin to be struck multiple times with slight shifts in the design, it's an unusual and rare occurrence. As you can imagine, finding a coin like this in circulation is an incredibly lucky find. Because of this rarity, coins like the 1974 double-die Lincoln penny can command prices far higher than their face value. If you happen to have a 1974 Lincoln penny that features the double-die error, you're sitting on a rare treasure. The value of these coins can vary based on their condition, but even a penny with minor signs of wear can still fetch a respectable price. In fact, in pristine condition, the value of a 1974 double-die penny can be incredibly high. Coin collectors know that condition is key when determining a coin's value. The more well-preserved the coin, the higher its potential price. For the 1974 Lincoln penny, those in mint condition or those with only slight wear can command significant amounts at auction. Depending on the severity of the doubling and the coin's overall state, prices can range from a few $100s to several $1,000s. In some rare cases, especially for coins in perfect condition or with clear doubling, these coins can sell for amounts that would leave anyone stunned. And now, let's get to the most mind-blowing part. If you find a 1974 Lincoln penny with the double-die error in nearly perfect condition, you could be looking at a massive payday. In fact, some of these rare coins have been known to sell for as much as $855,000, making them one of the most valuable pennies in the world. Yes, you heard that right, $855,000. It's hard to believe that a simple penny, something many people might throw away or disregard, could be worth such a fortune. But in the world of coin collecting, these rarities are highly prized, and collectors are always on the lookout for that perfect, error-free, or double-struck penny. So, how can you spot a 1974 double-die Lincoln penny? First, examine the obverse side of the coin, especially the lettering. You'll want to look carefully at Liberty and the date 1974. If you notice a noticeable doubling effect where the letters appear as if they are duplicated or shadowed, you may have found a rare error coin. Additionally, check for any other signs of minting errors, such as misstrikes or off-center images, as these too can significantly increase the value of the coin. If you think you found one of these rare 1974 Lincoln pennies, it's a good idea to have it professionally graded and authenticated by a reputable coin grading service. A professional can confirm whether your coin is indeed the rare double-die variety and help you determine its exact value. While the chances of finding a 1974 Lincoln penny with a double-die error are slim, the possibility is real, and the payoff is huge. So, the next time you're going through your change, take a closer look at those pennies. That seemingly insignificant coin could be worth more than you ever imagined. If it's a 1974 Lincoln penny with the double-die error, you could find yourself holding a coin worth up to $855,000. Top 3. The Lincoln 1-cent penny is an iconic symbol of the United States, and for many people, it's just another small coin that gets passed around in pocket change. However, within the world of numismatics, certain pennies from particular years hold far more value than you might imagine. The 1976 Lincoln 1-cent penny is one such example. While most people might not think twice about these pennies, there's a rare version of the 1976 penny that has become a highly sought-after collector's item, and it's worth far more than just 1 cent. To fully understand the value of the 1976 Lincoln 1-cent penny, we first need to take a look at the year itself. The year 1976 marked a significant milestone in American history. the United States celebrated its 200th birthday, or its bicentennial. In celebration, special coins and stamps were issued, including the 1776 to 1976 quarters, half dollars, and dollars, which all featured commemorative designs. But while the bicentennial celebrations were all about the quarter, half dollar, and dollar coins, the humble penny also has its own story to tell. For the 1976 Lincoln penny, there was no commemorative redesign like there was with the larger denominations. The penny still featured the familiar design of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, which had been in place since 1959. However, the true value of the 1976 penny isn't in its design. It lies in the potential for error coins that were minted that year. Like with many coins, errors during the minting process can lead to unique and highly collectible versions. The 1976 Lincoln penny is no exception. Among the most valuable of these are the double-die error pennies. This occurs when the design is struck into the coin more than once, causing certain features to appear doubled. In the case of the 1976 penny, this doubling effect can sometimes be seen in the word Liberty or in the date 1976. A slight doubling of these elements can make the coin far more valuable than a standard penny. Another error that collectors look for is off-center strikes. During the minting process, if a coin is not properly aligned, it can result in an off-center strike. This leads to a coin that is part of the design missing or poorly aligned with the rest of the coin. For example, a 1976 Lincoln penny with a noticeable off-center strike can have a unique look and become an incredibly rare and valuable find. These off-center error coins are sought after because they are visual anomalies that stand out among other, more typical pennies. Now, it's important to note that most 1976 Lincoln pennies are worth exactly 1 cent. They are regular circulation coins that aren't particularly rare, but that doesn't mean there aren't some extraordinary exceptions. If you happen to find one of these error pennies, though, it could be your lucky day. Even with some signs of wear, these error pennies can fetch a hefty price among collectors who are passionate about adding rare pieces to their collections. But just how much are these error 1976 pennies worth? Well, if you're fortunate enough to find a 1976 Lincoln penny that has a noticeable double die or an off-center strike in good condition, it could be worth far more than its face value. In fact, some of these rare error coins have sold for prices that are hard to believe. In some cases, the value of a 1976 Lincoln penny has skyrocketed to as much as $80,000, a far cry from the mere penny that most people assume it is. You might be wondering, how do you identify such a rare and valuable coin? First, take a close look at the obverse side of the penny, particularly around the word Liberty and the date, 1976. If you see any signs of doubling, especially a clear shadow or duplicate outline of the letters or numbers, you may have found a double-die error penny. On the reverse side, you should also check for any unusual misalignment or off-center strikes. If the image of the Lincoln Memorial seems oddly positioned or there's a portion of the design missing, you might be looking at an off-center error. It's also worth mentioning that the condition of the coin matters greatly in determining its value. A well-preserved penny, one that retains much of its original luster, will be worth more than a coin that has been heavily circulated and damaged over time. If you find an error coin that is in mint condition, it can fetch even higher prices. If you do happen to find a rare 1976 Lincoln penny with a double die or off-center error, it's important to have it authenticated by a professional coin grading service. The experts will confirm if the coin is indeed a rare error and will give you an official grade based on its condition. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin becomes. While most 1976 Lincoln pennies are just like any other penny, the few that are minted with rare errors have captured the attention of collectors and investors alike. So next time you go through your loose change, take a closer look at those pennies. You never know when you might come across a 1976 Lincoln penny with an error that could be worth up to $80,000. Top 4. The Lincoln 1-cent penny is a symbol of American history, and for most of us, it's a coin that's easy to overlook. After all, it's just 1 cent. But there's more to this humble coin than meets the eye. The 1981 Lincoln 1-cent penny is a perfect example of how certain years and minting errors can make a coin far more valuable than its face value. While you might think of pennies as simple, low-value coins, some rare versions can fetch a fortune, and the 1981 penny is no exception. The 1981 Lincoln penny was minted during a period when the United States had begun to transition to a more cost-effective coin production system. Up until that time, pennies were made primarily of copper, but by the 1980s, the rising cost of copper led the U.S. Mint to change the composition of the penny. In 1982, the penny was transitioned from a pure copper composition to a copper-plated zinc structure. However, the 1981 penny still contains a significant amount of copper, making it an interesting piece for collectors who appreciate the earlier copper versions of this coin. While most 1981 Lincoln pennies are worth no more than their face value, there are certain rarities and errors that have drawn the attention of coin collectors and investors. The most significant of these rarities are the error coins, those that were minted with defects that make them stand out from the rest. These error coins are highly sought after in the world of numismatics. And when it comes to the 1981 Lincoln penny, there are a couple of specific errors that can make it worth much more than just 1 cent. One of the most valuable types of error found in 1981 pennies is known as the double die error. This occurs when the coin's design is struck into the metal more than once, causing a slight doubling effect in the features on the coin. In the case of the 1981 penny, this error often manifests in the lettering, particularly in the words "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," as well as in the date, 1981 itself. This slight doubling effect can create a unique appearance on the coin, and collectors pay a premium for such rare varieties. Another significant error that can be found in 1981 pennies is the off-center strike. An off-center strike happens when the penny is not properly aligned during the minting process, causing part of the design to be cut off. The result is a coin with a distorted or misaligned image. These off-center strikes are considered errors, and because they are visually striking and one-of-a-kind, they can fetch higher prices from collectors who are looking for distinctive pieces to add to their collections. But how can you identify these rare and valuable error coins in your pocket change? It's important to closely inspect the details on the 1981 penny. Start by looking at the obverse side of the coin, which features the portrait of Abraham Lincoln. Pay special attention to the word "Liberty" and the date, 1981. If you notice any slight doubling, particularly where the letters appear to be shadowed or duplicated, you may have found a double die error coin. On the reverse side of the penny, check the Lincoln Memorial for any signs of an off-center strike. If part of the memorial is missing or the coin has a noticeably misaligned design, it could be worth a lot more than just 1 cent. It's also worth noting that the condition of the coin plays a significant role in its value. A well-preserved 1981 Lincoln penny with an error could be worth far more than one that is worn down or damaged. Coins that are in mint condition, especially those with clear, easily identifiable errors, can command a premium price from collectors. If your 1981 penny is well-maintained and features a noticeable error, it could be worth thousands of dollars, depending on the severity of the error and the overall quality of the coin. So, how much can a 1981 Lincoln penny with an error be worth? Well, the value can vary based on the specific error and the coin's condition, but there have been cases where these error coins have sold for astonishing amounts. If you find a 1981 Lincoln penny with a noticeable double die or off-center strike, it could be worth as much as $67,000. That's right. What might seem like just another penny could potentially be worth an incredible amount of money if you've discovered one of these rare and valuable error coins. While the 1981 Lincoln penny may seem like a regular, everyday coin, the potential for discovering a rare error version means it could be worth much more than you think. The next time you're going through your loose change, take a few extra moments to carefully inspect your pennies. You might just find a 1981 Lincoln penny with an error that could make you a small fortune. Imagine finding a coin that could be worth up to $67,000 just by looking a little closer at a simple penny. Top 5. When it comes to the world of coin collecting, most people tend to overlook the humble Lincoln 1-cent penny, assuming it's just another small and insignificant piece of change. However, there are rare versions of this coin that have captured the attention of collectors and investors alike. One such coin is the 1982 Lincoln 1-cent penny. While it might seem like just another penny in your spare change, there's a fascinating history behind it. And if you know what to look for, you could uncover a rare treasure that is worth far more than 1 cent. The year 1982 marked a significant change in the history of U.S. coinage. Up until that time, Pennies were made primarily from copper, which was becoming increasingly expensive to use. As a result, the U.S. Mint made a monumental decision to switch the composition of the penny to a zinc core with a thin copper plating. This change wasn't immediately noticeable to the casual observer, but it did affect how the penny looked and felt. For most of the population, the 1982 penny appeared no different from its predecessors. But behind the scenes, a shift was taking place that would lead to some unique and valuable coins. In fact, the 1982 Lincoln penny is famous not only for its composition change, but also for the errors that occurred during the transition. Due to the shift in material, the minting process was a bit tricky, and some pennies were made using the old copper composition while others were made using the new zinc-based formula. Some 1982 pennies are made entirely of copper, while others are made with a copper-plated zinc core, making them an interesting anomaly in the world of U.S. currency. This mix of materials resulted in some coins that are highly desirable for collectors who want to own a piece of history. Now, you might be asking yourself, what makes the 1982 Lincoln penny so valuable? While the change in composition is historically significant, it's actually the minting errors associated with the 1982 penny that make it so valuable to collectors. Specifically, one error variety from this year, the 1982 copper penny, is incredibly rare and highly sought after by numismatists. These particular pennies were struck using the older copper planchets, the blanks of metal that are pressed to create coins. Even though most pennies from 1982 were minted using the new zinc-based planchets, finding a 1982 copper penny is a rare occurrence because, by the time the new material was introduced, the mint had already switched over to using the new zinc-based blanks. However, some copper planchets had already been made and were inadvertently used in the minting process. These coins are known as copper 1982 pennies, and they are one of the most valuable and elusive finds in the world of coin collecting. How can you spot one of these rare copper pennies? The key is to carefully examine the weight and composition of the coin. The 1982 copper pennies weigh 3.11 grams, while the zinc-based pennies weigh 2.5 grams. The easiest way to tell the difference between the two is by using a precise scale to measure the weight of the coin. If you come across a 1982 penny that weighs 3.11 grams, you've likely found a rare copper penny that could be worth significantly more than its face value. Another important thing to note is that condition is everything when it comes to determining the value of a coin. A well-preserved copper 1982 penny, with minimal wear and damage, can be worth a lot more than a heavily worn one. The better the condition, the more attractive it is to collectors, as they are always on the lookout for coins in mint or near-mint condition. You may also come across some 1982 pennies with additional errors, such as double dies, which can make the coin even more valuable. A double die error occurs when the die used to stamp the design onto the coin is misaligned, resulting in a coin that has a doubled image. If you notice that the lettering on your 1982 penny, particularly around Liberty or In God We Trust, appears doubled, you may have found another rare and valuable error. These types of minting errors are always highly sought after by collectors, as they make a coin unique and even more historically significant. Now, if you're lucky enough to find one of these rare 1982 copper pennies or one with a minting error, you might be wondering just how much it could be worth. Well, to give you an idea of the value, some of these rare 1982 copper pennies have been known to sell for as much as $64,000. Yes, you read that correctly. What may seem like a small and insignificant penny could end up being worth an astonishing amount of money. Finding one of these rare coins is no easy feat, but the payoff can be huge if you do. So, the next time you're digging through your loose change, take a moment to inspect your 1982 pennies. Pay close attention to the weight, the condition, and any possible errors. You could be holding a rare and valuable piece of U.S. history in your hands, one that might just be worth up to $64,000. Imagine finding a penny that could make you a small fortune, all because you took the time to look a little closer at your change. Top 6. The Lincoln 1-cent penny is one of the most iconic coins in American currency, yet many people overlook it as just a small piece of pocket change. However, there's far more to the penny than meets the eye. Over the years, some pennies have become incredibly valuable, especially those with rare minting errors or unique features. One such example is the 1985 Lincoln 1-cent penny. While most people would pass over it without a second thought, some of these pennies are worth much more than just 1 cent. If you're a collector or just someone with an interest in rare coins, this is a coin that could hold a hidden treasure. The 1985 Lincoln penny itself looks like most other pennies you'll find in circulation. Featuring the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, the 1985 penny is part of the long-standing design that has been in use since 1959. However, what makes some of these pennies particularly interesting are the errors and unusual circumstances surrounding their production. These small imperfections or misprints can sometimes transform a regular penny into a highly coveted collectible that's worth far more than its face value. So, why does the 1985 Lincoln penny stand out? It all comes down to minting errors. Over the years, the U.S. Mint has occasionally made mistakes during the production of coins, leading to the creation of error coins that are far rarer than standard pieces. These error coins tend to be highly sought after by collectors due to their scarcity and unique characteristics. The 1985 Lincoln penny is no exception. One of the most notable errors that can be found in the 1985 pennies is the double die error, which occurs when the die used to stamp the design onto the coin is misaligned, causing the features to appear doubled or distorted. The double die error is particularly striking in the 1985 Lincoln penny, as the most noticeable doubling typically appears in the letters of Liberty and the phrase, "In God We Trust." You may also notice a doubling effect in the date 1985 itself. This doubling makes the coin stand out visually, and it's exactly what collectors look for when hunting for valuable error coins. A well-preserved 1985 Lincoln penny with this type of error can command a significant price at auctions or among collectors. Another factor that makes the 1985 penny valuable is the potential for off-center strikes. An off-center strike occurs when a coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, leading to an image that is misaligned with the edges of the coin. These off-center errors result in coins that look completely unique, with portions of the design missing or shifted off to one side. Collectors love these types of coins because they represent a visual anomaly that is unlike any other regular penny. Finding a 1985 Lincoln penny with a double die error or an off-center strike may seem like a rare stroke of luck, but these coins do pop up more often than you might think. The problem is that the vast majority of people simply don't recognize their value, and they end up being lost in the shuffle of everyday transactions. That's why it's essential to pay attention to the pennies you come across and inspect them carefully for any signs of an error. A little knowledge can go a long way, and what might seem like just another penny could actually be worth a small fortune. You might be wondering, just how much is a 1985 Lincoln penny with an error worth? Well, depending on the rarity and condition of the coin, these pennies can be worth thousands of dollars. However, some of the more well-preserved 1985 Lincoln pennies with noticeable errors have been known to sell for as much as $60,000. That's right, what seems like a simple penny could be worth a life-changing amount of money if you happen to find the right one with the right error. For anyone who is serious about coin collecting, finding a 1985 Lincoln penny with a double die error or an off-center strike could be the discovery of a lifetime. The key to maximizing the value of these coins is to preserve them in the best condition possible. The less wear and tear on the coin, the higher its potential value. Coins that are well-maintained and free from damage tend to be much more valuable in the eyes of collectors. If you believe you have found one of these rare 1985 Lincoln pennies, it's always a good idea to have it professionally authenticated and graded by a reputable coin grading service. The grading process will confirm whether the penny is truly a valuable error coin and provide an official assessment of its condition, which can drastically affect its worth. So, next time you're sorting through your pocket change or browsing through a jar of loose coins, take a moment to look at those 1985 pennies. You might be holding on to something far more valuable than you realize. That unassuming penny could very well be worth up to $60,000 if it happens to have the right error and is in the right condition. The world of coin collecting is filled with hidden treasures, and sometimes, the most valuable finds are right under our noses. Top 7. The Lincoln 1-cent penny may seem like a simple and insignificant coin to most people, but for collectors and coin enthusiasts, it holds a deep fascination. The history of this small coin is intertwined with the evolution of American currency, and over the years, it has become one of the most iconic and collected coins in the world. While most pennies are worth just 1 cent, there are some rare versions that can be worth far more, sometimes even thousands of dollars. The 1984 Lincoln 1-cent penny is one such coin. and you might be surprised by how much a rare 1984 penny could be worth. The 1984 penny features the familiar design of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. This design has been in circulation since 1959 and has become an instantly recognizable symbol of American history. But what makes the 1984 Lincoln penny stand out from the others is the potential for minting errors that occurred during the production of these coins. While most 1984 pennies are worth no more than 1 cent, some contain rare features or mistakes that make them highly valuable to collectors. One of the most significant types of error that can be found in 1984 pennies is the double die error. This happens when the die used to imprint the design onto the coin is misaligned, resulting in a doubling effect on the lettering or numbers. In the case of the 1984 penny, this error can typically be seen in the word liberty and the phrase "In God We Trust" on the obverse. In some cases, the date 1984 itself may also appear doubled. A double die error is one of the most sought-after mistakes in the world of coin collecting, and when it appears on a 1984 Lincoln penny, it can make the coin worth far more than face value. Another type of error to watch for is the off-center strike. This happens when the penny is not properly aligned during the minting process, causing part of the design to be cut off. An off-center strike can result in a coin with a misaligned image, making it look completely different from a regular penny. Off-center coins are highly collectible because they are visually unique, and collectors prize them for their rarity. The 1984 penny is no exception. If you come across a 1984 Lincoln penny with an off-center strike, it could be worth a significant amount of money. But how do you spot a rare and valuable 1984 penny? It's all about paying attention to the details. Start by closely examining the obverse side of the penny, especially around the word liberty and the date 1984. If you notice any doubling or shadowing in the letters or numbers, it could be a double die error. On the reverse side, look for any signs of misalignment or missing design elements. If the Lincoln Memorial seems oddly placed or if part of the design is missing, you could be holding on to an off-center strike. The condition of the coin is also a crucial factor in determining its value. A 1984 penny with a noticeable error in mint condition will be worth significantly more than one that has been heavily circulated or damaged. Coins that are well preserved and have minimal wear and tear tend to fetch higher prices because collectors value them more highly. If you've come across a well-preserved 1984 penny with a noticeable error, it could be worth thousands of dollars. So, how much could a rare 1984 Lincoln penny be worth? Well, the value depends on the severity of the error and the overall condition of the coin. Some of the more well-preserved 1984 pennies with double die or off-center strike errors have been known to sell for as much as $63,000. That's right, what might seem like a simple penny could turn into a windfall if you happen to find one with a rare minting error. In the world of coin collecting, finding a 1984 Lincoln penny with a noticeable error is like stumbling upon a hidden treasure. These coins are highly sought after by numismatists and collectors who specialize in rare and unusual coins. If you're lucky enough to find one, it could be a game changer for your collection or even your bank account. If you believe you've found a rare 1984 Lincoln penny, it's always a good idea to have it professionally authenticated and graded. Professional coin grading services will assess the coin's authenticity and condition, which can drastically affect its value. Coins with higher grades are worth more, so having a rare penny graded can ensure that you get the best possible price if you decide to sell it. Next time you're going through your change, take a few moments to examine those pennies more closely. A 1984 Lincoln penny with a minting error could be worth far more than you think. You could be holding on to a rare coin that could fetch you a hefty sum, with some even being worth up to $63,000. It's amazing how something as small and seemingly insignificant as a penny can have such a huge value in the world of coin collecting. So, keep your eyes peeled and your wallet open. You might just find a treasure worth a lot more than you ever expected.